covering the northern Bahamas. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern.
Welcome back. The Bahamas National Trust is celebrating 60 years of conserving and protecting the natural resources of the Bahamas through stewardship and education for present and future generations. The BNT was established in 1959, and now members are excited about the organization's 60th anniversary. Grand Bahama Parks manager Ellsworth Ware says the trust started off with a few dozen members and has grown to over 3,000.
The trust is seeing some growth, and we're still appealing for persons to join and become members. You know that you're supporting your national park, supporting protected areas, supporting environmental education, and that's how you can do your part, by becoming a member. Here in Grand Bahama, we have 3 national parks. The Rand Nature Center, where we are right now, and that's the headquarters. It's a 100-acre pine forest and educational center. There's also Lucayan National Park, which is the busiest out of the 32 in the country. We get over 30,000 visitors there a year. And you would find just about every vegetative zone that you would find in the Bahamas at Lucayan National Park. Okay, then there's also Peterson Key, which is about a half-mile offshore. And all of these areas come under the management of the National Trust.
Acknowledging the various organizations like the Bahamas National Trust, Minister of Marine Resources and Agriculture, the Honorable Michael Pintard, says whenever the government makes decisions with respect to managing various marine species, they do so on the basis of science. He says the BNT is a partner in that regard, and they are grateful for their contribution.
As you may be aware, the Bahamas has signed up for the 2020 challenge, and that is that we will preserve 20% of our marine environment by the year 2020. We're halfway there now, and we've identified a number of marine protected areas that we intend to go to the public, have, as we've been doing, consultations with respect to the additional areas that we intend to protect, and hopefully we're going to get the required support in order to hit the 20% mark.
In other news, a local artist and actor is looking to elevate the arts in Grand Bahama. While he notes that the community is doing great work, he says more can be done. Here's Megan Shepard with this report.
Actor and artist Matthew Wildgoose filling what he sees as a need in the Grand Bahama community when it comes to having a dedicated space to celebrate, appreciate, and showcase various forms of art on Grand Bahama.
It Is What It Is Gallery is the place for the artists, whether that be poetry, whether it be singing, whether it be painting. It is a space for the creative, for the person who is actually doing the creating, and the person who loves what comes out of the minds of these creatives.
Wildgoose notes that art is important as it cements times in history, noting that we still learn about the ancient Egyptians today through their art and artifacts. When it comes to the various forms of art on Grand Bahama, he says that there are artists doing their part, but he believes that Grand Bahama still has some ways to go.
We always could use more. We always could use more expression, because I think it helps with everything and every area of our lives, right? It helps with the way we communicate, and we know nowadays no one communicates. We rather fight before we say I'm sorry, or figure out what went wrong and why and how.
When it comes to his vision for this northern island, Wildgoose says that he wants to see artists creating works that will capture the Bahamian culture that can be passed on for generations to come.
We want Bahamians to have purpose, and we want to do our part in facilitating that. So the art in this gallery, for example, is all relatable to every Bahamian. And what it does is tell a story. So the story of who we are, the story of how we speak, how we do things, our way of life.
He adds that every month, It Is What It Is will feature a new artist's work in the Port Lucayo Marketplace. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
This is Ask the Doctor. Welcome. Sherelle asked, I'm hearing about so many women having cervical cancer and ovarian cancer. Is this a common cancer among women? Thanks, such a timely question. It is very important that we continue to remind women that cervical cancer is considered the second most frequent cause of cancer in the Bahamas. Various strains of the human papillomavirus, or HPV, a sexually transmitted infection, play a role in causing most cervical cancers. When exposed to HPV, a woman's immune system prevents the virus from doing harm in most cases. However, in a small group of women, the virus survives for years and eventually causing some cells on the surface of the cervix to become cancer cells. You can lower your risk of developing cervical cancer by having regular screening tests to detect small changes in the cervix before they become cancerous and by being vaccinated against HPV. Vaccination is available for girls and women ages 9 to 26. The vaccine is most effective if given to girls before they become sexually active. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Let's look at stories making news this evening, but don't go away just yet. Ramiko Knowles has a check on sports when we come back.